It's me, Nice Spiller 79. It's my show, and I'm glad to be back. Today, I wanted to do a video on my God of War collection and a lot of the things that I've collected. Some of you have known me over the last few years of doing my God of War or doing my collection, doing these YouTube videos, that I am a big fan of God of War. The funny thing about it is, probably would have never got turned on to the series because I just heard about it in theory, Greek mythology. I remember Greek mythology in school and stuff like that, and spending time with that, and devoting myself to that. As far as when you were in history class and learning about all these gods and stuff like that and whatever and whatnot, and it was interesting, but we only learned about it in theory. We never went into depth. But actually, the first God of War that ever even got me turned on to the series, I didn't get turned on to the series until about 2007, 6 or 7, something like that. The original God of War game came out in 2005, and I had never heard of Kratos, none of these Greek gods and stuff like that. But the first God of War that came out was God of War 1, of course. And this is the Alpha and Omega, man. This game changed my perception about gaming, about strategy, about the PlayStation 2, about platforming, about storylines, about the possibilities of what a man could do if hypothetically he transitioned into a god. God of War 1 starts out with Kratos, who is about to plunge to his death. And the reason why is because he's had to do this service, devote his life to the gods after giving his life over to Ares, and he's plagued by these demons, all the people that he killed in service to Ares, and he wanted to break that. He didn't want to be a part of that anymore. He wanted to venture out on his own, be his own man, do his own thing. He was like, damn the gods, damn everything. I just want to be my own person, do my own thing. He didn't want to be plagued by the nightmares anymore, because anytime you've done any senseless violence such as he did in Barbaric, it's going to haunt you. So he talked to Ares, or not Ares, but Athena, the goddess, and just let her know. She said, basically, if you do this for me, you get rid of Ares for me, because he's out of control, then you will no longer be plagued by these things. So he does it. I mean, ultimately he goes along this journey, and this is like one of the most adventurous games. It tests your might. I played it on all levels: easy, medium, hard, God mode. It is phenomenal. Kratos is one of those characters that quickly you can relate to if you've ever been through struggles, challenges, and stuff like that. What ends up happening is that he ends up gaining all these powers from each god along the way, like, for example, Zeus and Poseidon and Ares, and he has blades of chaos, which are burned into his arms from a covenant that he made with Ares on the battlefield. He said he would dedicate his life to him, and that's what he did. And part 1 had the world at its feet, pretty much. Santa Monica Studios is the creator, which is SCEA, which is Sony Computer Entertainment of America. We pretty much were at their feet. I'm trying to remember his name. The original creator. He always thought, the original creator of God of War, he always had this love and passion for Greek mythology, and he just kept coming up with concepts and all these ideas about what Kratos could look like, because he wanted him to be humanistic as far as something we could relate to, and then watch his metamorphosis or his transition. So it was a really good game. So it left off with that, and then part 2, which is God of War 2, it picks up after he's become the God of War. Now there's no longer Ares, and he's all good. Now he's pretty much the God of War. So everybody leans to him. They look to him. They pray to him. They ask him for help in their need or in their hour of distress. But now he's yearning for more. Of course, that lust, that desire, that pull, that tug at our heart. He always wants more. And so Kratos wanted more. And he wants to show everybody, I can do whatever I want to do. Nobody's in control of me. I'm a god now. And so he plunges himself back to Earth, and he pretty much gets tricked along the road again. And you will begin to see this storyline, a cycle of events where Kratos gets tricked and he falls into the trap, not even willingly, but just not knowing that he's in this ongoing cycle. So yet again, he falls into the cycle of events. And ultimately in part 2, he chases after Zeus. He finds out other things. I don't want to give away too much for those who have waited entirely too long to play this doggone series. You should play this game by now. Anyway, he finds out that Zeus is the cause of problems, and because it goes back to God of War 1. The good thing about the God of War series is that they've always made a seamless transition through each chapter where they didn't leave you scratching your forehead too much. You kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And yet again, he picks up new powers, but this time he picks up powers through the Titans. He learns new things along the route, along the way, and Gaia becomes his guide, his voice of reason to keep him on the journey. But yet again, he's being used. He loses his god powers because he puts them all into the blades of chaos, or the blade of Olympus. It's a big sword that Zeus sends down early on in the game, and now he's at the point where he has to go back in time because he drained all his power into the blade of Olympus and dies. And Zeus comes down, basically smites him because he has no energy at this point. And he has to go back in time. So his whole journey through part 2 is to recapture that moment when he fought Zeus, and they battle it out. And it pretty much leaves us off. I think this one came out in 07 or 08. I can't quite remember, but it leaves us at the point where he's going up the mountain on the back of Gaia to fight Zeus. And we were stuck at that position for the next 3 to 4 years. They left off like that. Well, the game that came in between was the Chains of Olympus, which I don't have on the PSP, but I do have on the Origins collection. Chains of Olympus, really good game that came out. These are ports. They came out on the PSP. What can I say about this game? I don't remember a lot, honestly. I did complete that. I completed 1, 2, and Chains of Olympus. It's a really good game, especially it came through Ready Dog, basically under the umbrella of Santa Monica Studios. I can't remember too much about this game, but I can tell you that it was good. It was different to be able to take God of War on the go. I was probably one of the first ones that signed up. I actually got the silver PSP. I know they had a God of War PSP, but I got the silver PSP with the Chains of Olympus. That was a really good game to have. And then the another game that came out, they actually did the HD remake or remastered, the God of War 1 and 2. I quickly picked that up. I actually remember buying it. This is my second copy, of course, because you can see the big ass logo in there. But this was actually my second copy. I bought it, I think, originally for $40. God of War 1 and 2 remastered with, HD graphics. It was really good. I like the transition that they went from the PS2 to the PS3, and they utilized it to the fullest. Yet again, you got the great, powerful 1 and 2, and also additional footage, behind the scenes, all kinds of little extras and stuff like that were included with this, which was awesome. And then they came out with God of War 3. And to this day, I have not found a game. I found games close to it in my heart of hearts and in my mind and my gameplay and my hours and my thought process. We have God of War 3. God of War 3. How can I begin to describe this game? Well, let me go on a technical level first. The original God of War, it only took 5,000 polygons which is the dynamics or the shape of the face. Just imagine squares, lines all over. It's just like with the PS3 and the PS4, or yeah, Xbox 360 and Xbox One. What you have is an enhancement, or you have an upgrade in technology where features, details. So we take God of War 1, 5,000 polygons. God of War 3, 20,000. I think they said 20 to 25,000 polygons. So there's more details, it's enriched. You can see every single feature of this character. So God of War 3 picks up where he left off on a mountain on his way up to fight Zeus. Well, all the gods are sitting up there. You got Hades, you got Helios, you got Hercules, you got Zeus, Hermes, Poseidon. And every battle, including some titans, but on the top of the mountain, they all come down, and now they're coming towards Kratos. You end up on the back of Gaia. And I have to say, the landscape, the vascular landscape of each and every area of this game is phenomenal. What it is that they took elements of the game and made it realistic. Like when you were on Gaia's back, it was a forest. So you were actually walking through a forest. Or if you fought a god, the god took up the whole entire screen. So it was one of those, the landscape, the transition, the size, boss battles, they without any frame sketching or anything. So to this day is one of my favorites. And what happens in God of War 3, he finally really gets to fight Zeus, but along the way he beats up all these gods and he kills them in the most brutal, gruesome ways. One of the main ones that stand out to me is the way he kills Helios, the sun god. He rips his head off, and you can actually see each fiber of his neck ripping to shreds. And he takes power from each god along the way, and he uses them. And he pretty much destroys the current world that they're in, and it becomes obliterated, and there's like nothing left. And yeah. But with that, I did get the collection edition, and at the time I had the box of Pandora, or Pandora's box. My wife was too creeped out about it, so I had to get rid of it. But I did manage to keep the art book. I have this right here to this day. If you look close, you can see all the characters that were in there, and even on the back you can see some of the characters in there as well. The art, the detail, the landscape, like I said. Let me see if I can. I mean, look at this. Look at the details. What they were able to do with the video game. I can transition to some characters. I'm keeping these, of course, because I know these are nice collectible items, because you only got those with the special edition or the collector's edition. I'm trying to find some white papers in here. Trying not to take up too much time either. I think that was Kratos right there. That was pretty cool. Let's flip it. But this art book is so badass. I'm so glad to have this in my collection. And then also I got the strategy guide, the ultimate strategy guide right here. This is so badass. And also in some of those collections, they have behind the footage. I think it was, let's see. Oh, the Origins collection. They have a sit down with all of the directors of each God of War, 1, 2, and 3, the Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta. It was so cool just to get a mindset. This was before God of War Ascension, but it was really cool. Oh yeah, on the back, you can see blades. That's cool. This is pretty much step-by-step guide through. This was kept up really nice, and I actually set it up on a mantle on the top of my shelf, which is pretty cool. The next game that came out was Ghost of Sparta, right before that transition between God of War 3 and Ascension. Ghost of Sparta is really good because I never got to play it on the PSP, so I was glad to add this to my collection. It goes along with the Origins collection. This one pretty much picks up with Deimos. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. Where pretty much Kratos, he goes after his brother. He's looking for, you know, that lost relationship that they used to have. And let me see where I'm at. Clocking in at 15 minutes. I can't really see my clock or my timer. I'm trying to keep it short as possible, but yeah. Pretty much he goes after his brother, their lost relationship from childhood. There was a big separation. Kratos always was kind of sought after as the one. And so they form a jealousy, and he ends up going after his brother, looking for him, finding him. And honestly, in my opinion, God of War, Ghost of Sparta is far much better than Chains of Olympus. The storyline, the action, even though it was a port from the PSP to the PS3, it was really good. And then we have God of War Ascension. This takes 6 months after his wife and daughter are murdered. He's got, what I like is that you can see kind of an ashy tint to his skin tone. Like, it's just fairly new. Anything that's new that just happened, you can tell like he just got the mark on him from his wife and his daughter being killed. He became the Ghost of Sparta with their ashes. And in this one, he's trying to break that blood covenant between him and Ares. But see, there's several things that there's 3 things that he has to do. I think it's one, how he sealed the blood covenant. First of all, with the God of War, Ares, he had to kill his enemies. He had to kill somebody innocent, which he did. And then number 3 was he had to kill a loved one. And that's how the blood covenant was sealed. So he wanted to break that covenant. And he had to track down, I think it was the Sisters of Fate. Or the, not the Sisters of Fate, because that was the other one. But he basically had to track down the ones that was control over him. So that's pretty much what he does in this one. He breaks that covenant, and that's how he becomes independent, and that's how we got that transition of God of War, between God of War and God of War 2. And also, if you haven't seen it, got my God of War Ascension, my little box here. It's got Kratos in there. Nice little logo on the back. I had this container. I still got the Kratos inside in plastic and tape and everything. Everything. This one, it came with the original. When I sold the first one, I got rid of it. But then you got the, oh, that's from online. But yeah, I got this right here. So yeah. But as far as my games of order, God of War 3, definitely my number 1. Then you got God of War 1, and then it just gets kind of sketchy with the rest of them. But yeah, I just wanted to take this time to show my love for God of War, because I have always been, it is one of my favorite series, from the last gen to back. Of course, I love my Marios, my Donkey Kongs, my Prince of Persia, my Jackson Dexter, Ratchet and Clank, Zeldas. Man, there's a lot of series out there, franchises out there, but not as compelling, not on that deep level that just reaches to the inner core of who I am. But yeah, I'm still playing my Ni no Kuni, still having fun doing these videos, and hope I didn't take up too much of your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, much like the other video, like, subscribe, and tell others about it. All right, until then, I'm Lifestyle79, and I'm out.